Hi everybody, today's vlog is going to be about Wonder Woman of the New 52, and it's going to be a two-parter about prior knowledge that you should have going into reading this comic, and then the second volume, Guts, and what I think about it, because it just came out this month and I'm going to share my thoughts. So let's dive on into it. Okay, so the writers have talked about previously how they want to redo Wonder Woman's origin. Now, if you've been reading it like I have, and I have the number 02, but if you've been reading it, you know that Wonder Woman is not the perfect Amazon. She's not made of clay like we thought. She's actually a daughter of Zeus, a Greek god, which leads me into the prior knowledge that you should have going into this comic. You should have a pretty solid knowledge on Greek mythology, gods and goddesses, and what they do and what they're all about. Because personally, I just looked it up last night. I did some research despite having prior knowledge. I really went into research mode, and you should have a pretty solid background with Greek mythology. Otherwise, you're not really going to get it, because Amazons are based off of Greek, like what they think like super strong women do and all that stuff. It's based off of the Greek origin. So that's what the writers are trying to do. They're trying to go back to her real roots of like the Greek, the mythology, and all of that stuff. So despite the three main gods I'm not really going to talk about because I feel like everyone knows about them, the big three, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. But Zeus, king of the gods, lightning; Poseidon, king of the ocean, god of the ocean, fish and stuff; and Hades, he got hell. But the other gods that you should know about are Hermes, Demeter, Artemis, I can't even say his name, so we're just gonna call him Hepha, Eros, Apollo, Hera, Persephone, and that's it. That's for now. Those are the gods that you should know. And basically, the Greek gods and goddesses, they all are the god or goddess of a certain trait, like love, I don't know, death, plants, wine. They're a god of a certain aspect of human life. And you should know that because that affects their actions, how the other gods see them, how they act, all that. You should research this, go on Wikipedia, do what you have to do. But I'm going to talk about it to let you guys know what you really should know. So let me get my notes. And first of all, I'm going to talk about Hermes because that's the first god that we come into contact with in volume 1, Blood. Yeah, it's called Blood. I was like, ugh, I'm wrong. But the first god we come across is Hermes, who is the god of messengers. He's the messenger god. And he basically, you know, he just sends the messages of gods to other gods and people and stuff like that. He's the first person that we come in contact with. And Hermes is kind of a gossiper. You know the message, always don't shoot the messenger? It comes from Hermes, okay? And let's see, next we have Demeter, who we meet in volume 2. And I'm not going to say what she really does, but she is turning out to be extremely important. Demeter, she is the goddess of grains and harvest, sanctity of marriage, life and death. Like the cycle of life and death. That's what she's the goddess of. And also, her daughter is Persephone, the wife of Hades. She's basically been married to him for an eternity, which sucks because she doesn't even like him. And then we have Hera, the queen of the gods. She is Zeus's wife, the goddess of woman and marriage, and she is well known throughout history, mythology, all that stuff for her extreme jealousy of his bastard children and all of his mistresses. Like, she hates them. She goes for blood, she goes for guts, she just wants them all to go away and die, and she'll do whatever. She'll do whatever is necessary, which is really important in this story. It's very essential. Next we have Apollo, the god of light, sun, and healing, truth, and prophecy. But it's also said, some people also believe that Apollo can bring upon plague, and he's a big brawler too in the story. And then we have his sister Artemis, who is the moon. She is the goddess of the hunt, the wild, the animals, childbirth, and protection of the young girls. Artemis is turning out to be really important too, and like I said before, all of their traits as gods that you find like looking up on Wikipedia or whatever affect their actions, how they act, how they're treated, and all of this stuff. And lastly, we have, wait, not lastly, I lied. We have Heffa. Heffa soft, I'm probably gonna put his name around here somewhere, but we have Heffa. And he is the smithing god. He's also the husband of Aphrodite, the god of beauty, love. She's really hot. He's also the smithing god, and he makes weapons, and he makes all the godly divine weapons. And lastly, we have Eros, who is, sometimes they consider him a son of Aphrodite, sometimes they don't, but he's the Greek god of sexual love, so you know, he gets it in. And these are all the characters at volume 2, up to volume 2, that we come in contact with. These are all the gods that we come into contact with. The main players are obviously Hermes, Eros, not even Eros, Hermes, Apollo, Hera, and Hades, along with Poseidon. And Zeus is nowhere to be found, which is quite off-putting, but it's really important. Now, the common themes that are found in Greek mythology that are also in Wonder Woman that you guys want to be aware of are the fact of male dominance, which is, you know, totally against Wonder Woman, but she's trying to fight this fact, and that's the whole thing. Fate, you know, this whole, I'll get into in part 2, but there's this whole thing about fate that they're trying to prevent, but it's a prophecy, and it's supposed to happen, and it's coming, it's approaching. They're trying to avoid fate. Power and the wrath of the gods, and pride leading mortals and leading mortals and immortals to their untimely downfall. And yeah, but these are basically all the things you need to know, the backup knowledge that you need to have about these gods and goddesses going into reading Wonder Woman. I feel like a lot of people are not liking it because a lot of people don't have that solid background information going on in the back of their head, the common themes that are found in mythology, the gods and goddesses and what their roles are, what their rank is, and who does what. But the basic line is, with Greek mythology, the gods always have some sort of drama going on. Who is that baby's daddy? Why are you sleeping with her? You're my husband. All that stuff. Like, that's always going on with the Greek gods and goddesses, and Wonder Woman is being thrown into this huge thing because she didn't know that she's one of the daughters of Zeus. Anyways, guys, this is going to be continued more in depth in part 2, so I'll see you guys then. Bye!